Welcome to Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale with Don Henniger. I'm Don, and joining me, as always, is our man of all seasons, Kevin Maxwell.
All seasons, right. Hot.
Hot. I should say welcome back, Kevin.
Yeah.
We're back after about a 6-week break just to try to stay cool somewhere and go hide under a rock.
I was thinking you for like 6 weeks.
I was having withdrawals.
Yeah. I forgot what you looked like for a minute.
I was getting the shakes.
I
was getting. It wasn't because of the summer. It wasn't because of the heat.
Profile up.
Who is that man? Got to find out who he is, man. So July went back pretty quick, but it's kind of still with us. It's still 100 and whatever degrees outside.
Yeah. Did you do your yearly trip to San Diego?
We did last week.
Yeah, was it fun?
Yeah, it was beautiful. We stayed right on the beach.
Yeah.
It was just perfect. Walked outside our door right under the sand. And just stayed there and stayed cool all weekend long.
Did you run into your neighbors? I mean, were half the plates in San Diego Arizona plates?
There's all Arizona plates over there right now. In fact, I don't know why mine's still not there.
Yeah.
You know, it should still be over there for sure. I picked a good year to sell my house in Sholo, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I'm surprised you came back, really.
Yeah, but, you got to do what you got to do. Well, we have a great guest today. We will chat about summer with her as well. And that's Lee Ann Witt. She's the executive director of Scottsdale Leadership, an amazing person, an amazing organization. Lee Ann, welcome.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's good to see you.
How's your summer been?
Hot.
Yeah.
Hot, and hot.
You're a Texas girl, though. You're kind of used to it, right?
Well, that has the humidity.
Yeah, it's true.
So I'll take this heat any day.
Right.
I'm not going to take this heat any day.
Yeah.
118, 119 for every single day in July. It's like, come on, cut me a break.
It is getting a little bit much, but again, I'll take it over the humidity.
Well, so, Texas gets pretty hot. But Kevin, you were near Texas for a while. You went through Texas on your way and spent some time in, St. Louis?
Yeah.
That was
humid. It's humid.
Yeah. See some ball games or anything back there?
I saw a Cubs game and a Cardinal game.
Playing together?
No.
That's a big rivalry.
Two different games.
Well, good for you.
I saw the Cubs play the Red Sox.
Oh,
Cubs, Red Sox.
You went to Wrigley?
Yep, and then I saw the Cardinals play the Yankees in Busch Stadium.
Well, you got two good ones there, huh? Wow.
Yeah, good times.
Lee Ann, where you been this summer?
We went out to Georgia,
about
southern Georgia, to see my daughter and kids, and then we went with them down to Rosemary Beach between Panama City and Destin. Beautiful.
Was it nice?
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, very good.
So, it was wonderful.
It's on the Gulf side or the Atlantic side?
Gulf side.
Gulf side.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful white
I like
sands.
the Gulf side.
Yeah, that's nice. Just a nice change of pace, isn't it? Yeah, fantastic. I feel like we're having a little bit of a reunion today.
Kind of.
Where Lee Ann's the executive director of Scottsdale Leadership. Kevin and I are both alumni. We're having a little alumni fest today.
Class 29.
And class 32.
32.
Yeah.
Class 33.
Class 33. So
that's right.
We all know what we're talking about somewhat today, which is not real usual for us, I guess, right? But Lee Ann, let's get into your background a little bit, and let's, a lot of people, we all know you and we know some of the answers to this, but a lot of people don't. Tell us a little bit about, your background and your journey that led you to Scottsdale and then to Scottsdale Leadership.
Well, I grew up in Dallas. I met my husband and we moved to Boston and then Austin and then Tucson and up here. He's in construction. So when we transferred up here, it was to build out ASU West. They added 5 buildings to ASU West.
That's right.
And now it's many more buildings and totally grown out.
Yeah.
But we started having kids and decided this was where we wanted to be. He's from Nebraska, so it's too cold to live there. And we absolutely loved it here. So we built a house, kept having kids, and we've got 3 daughters, and this is home for me.
Fantastic.
Home for us.
How long have you lived in Arizona?
Since 89.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was not going to guess that. Yeah, because I haven't known you since 89. I've been here since 82, but we've only known each other probably for like 10, 12 years now, so I'm surprised to hear that.
Yeah, no, we lived in Tucson first and then transferred up here.
Okay.
And this is where we said that's enough. He'd been on the moving list for many, many years, every 2 years, and we loved it. We still love it.
That's the story how people come here, man. They come here to either pass through, maybe some go to school here or whatever. They come and grab, just say, we're staying. That's what happened to me. Yeah. I've been here since 82 and never looked back.
No.
There's just no, although summer's tempting me to think about looking elsewhere. I tell you what. So how did you get to Scottsdale Leadership?
Through a series of jobs that I had, I actually was with Ventura Entertainment, which is over with the aquarium, and some people will know that as Dolphinaris.
Yeah.
We had a dolphin therapy program, and one of our alumni, Andy Robertson, had a daughter enrolled in that program, and she, and Blessing, out of Class 30 as well, said, you need to go through this. And I'm like, okay, let's check it out and see. And I actually, when I went to a breakfast to check it out, Kevin was the speaker that day on how
man.
it had impacted him.
And you still came.
I still came.
Wow.
Even
Good for
that.
you.
Yeah. And actually, the CEO was in town at that point, and the VP had said, well, why don't you just, maybe you should wait another year. I'm like, you don't understand how this works. So when the CEO was in town, he says, this is something you want to do? And I said, I'll be back from breakfast. I'll give you a yes or no. I got back, and I'm like, because you have my full support. You
Wow.
do it.
Kevin, you were instrumental in everything that happened after that. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Oh, man. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it is
That's
kinda
true.
cool.
That's true. You saw Kevin speak, and you saw interest in the program. You went back and said, I'm in, and
Yep.
it's been all downhill since then.
Well, I went through the class,
Yeah.
and then the business closed down in February that year.
Oh, that's right.
Right in the middle of when you're in class, because for people who are listening who are not familiar with the program from Scottsdale Leadership runs from September generally through April, May
End
through
of
May.
May.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so you lost your job right in the middle.
Correct.
Oh boy.
That's pretty tough.
But
yeah.
you know what? It was actually a blessing in disguise.
Turned out.
I needed to do some things with my family. My mother was
Okay.
ill. A daughter had a baby. Another daughter had a busted up knee that needed surgery. And so I think that was just the way of saying, hey, you need to slow down and do this. And then it turned out, that this position, executive director, had opened up in the fall through a series of things that had happened in their management team. And I got the job.
If I was going to lose a job,
Yeah.
I'd want to right in the middle of Scottsdale Leadership class. Talk about networking and opportunities and the connections that you make that would be good for future job opportunities. What a perfect, it kind of worked out that way too, didn't it?
It did. It totally did. And I'll be honest with you. I actually applied for the program and events job, and I didn't get it. Dana did. Dana Close. And I looked at her resume. I'm like, well, golly, I don't stack up to that. I get it. I get why she got the job. And then they said, would you consider the executive director? And I said, well, if you didn't want me the first time, I'm not sure why you want me now. But they said, no, we want you to look at it in this context.
That's a great fit though for you, right?
I love it.
Yeah, knowing your skill set and what you bring to the organization, you're in the right spot, Lee Ann.
It's a full circle for me because when I graduated from college, I traveled for a sorority and all around the country did the same thing: program development, retention, meeting with university officials, starting chapters, presentations, etc., recruiting. And so to come full circle, I'm just now doing it with adults, and I absolutely love it.
Well, it shows because you've made such good progress with the organization. Because Kevin and I, we've been in it, but we've been watching it for years too. And so it's just really cool to see some of the advances that you've made. So what do you find the most rewarding about your job?
The people. It's the relationships. And it's from our alumni to our class members, to our sponsors, to the people in the community that are leaders. It's awesome to be amidst all these alumni that have done great things for many, many years,
Right.
and you've had a lot of them on your podcast.
We have.
It seems
Yeah,
like
sure
everybody
have.
comes through here.
I will just tell you, I did the numbers. It's 33% of your 100 guests.
Is
are
that right?
Scottsdale Leadership
No
alumni.
kidding. Thank you for pointing that out. I did not know that. That's great to
Yes.
know. Yeah.
Yes.
Although, frankly, I might have thought it might have been higher.
I would have said 40.
Well, there's a lot of people affiliated, and you would think they were. Some people think, oh, didn't you go through that program?
Right.
And they haven't.
Right.
But just because they're around them and support the program for their employees, you just make that assumption.
Well, Scottsdale Leadership is the pipeline for all kind of cool things that happen in our city. So when you talk about it, and our podcast is designed to take a positive look at what's happening in the city by the people who live here and work here. So it's not a surprise at all. It's actually a surprise that it's only 30%. As good as that organization is in developing future leaders.
Yeah.
So what kind of leadership and principles, what do you go by? What is your sort of leadership mantra in terms of the values and the principles that you live by that you then obviously apply to your job, and what happens at Scottsdale Leadership?
Well, I think it's about integrity, character, truth, compassion, empathy, listening, and I think it's serving others. You put everybody else ahead, and you're always looking. My end goal is what's in the best for Scottsdale Leadership,
Right.
which ultimately is what's in the best interest of the city. Because we are trying to get these folks engaged and carry on the responsibility that's been given to us by previous generations. And many of these community leaders that you've had on here, they planted those seeds.
Yeah.
And now we're enjoying the shade. You may have heard that.
I've heard that.
Jim
Jim
Bruner.
Bruner.
Yeah,
It's in his
Jim
book,
Bruner.
right? Exactly.
Yeah, you've got that book too.
Uh-huh.
And it's the truth.
Yeah, it is. It's a great way to look at
They
it.
persevered. They had vision. They worked together. They may not have always agreed, but they did what was best for this community. And that's inspiring. But it's also the responsibility that we have inherited, and we need to carry that forth.
Totally agree. When you think, Kevin, you think about the world today, the political world particularly, the values that Lee Ann just talked about are missing in many of the conversations and many of the political ramifications that go on around the country and, both locally. And it's just so nice to get back to just a basic value set and remind ourselves about why we should be here.
That's right.
Got to keep that spirit alive for sure.
What was the pledge? I forgot what the pledge was. What did we call that?
Civil discourse?
Civil, yeah. That was born from Scottsdale Leadership, wasn't it?
It was. Cynthia Winstrom out of Class 25
That's
led
right.
the charge with a group to get that in front of City Council, and it was a proclamation that was made in November of 2011. And the City Council then put these tenets on the cards, speaker cards, so that when anyone got up to speak, they would know that this is the way we dialogue respectfully. And it's been that way forever. We've got the proclamation in our office. Mm-hmm. I understand in the last couple of years that those tenets have been removed from the speaker cards, and perhaps that's fallen a little bit to the wayside in our city council and meetings and everything that takes place in the Kiva, which I'm very disappointed to hear if that's true.
I am too, and I'm trying to think, Kevin, because you and I have both speak at city council meetings, and so we've been on those cards. I don't remember seeing that.
I don't either.
Yeah, so maybe they did take that off.
It's time to bring it back.
Yeah,
It should
totally agree.
It should never have gone off in the first place.
I'm going to make that. I'm taking on note.
So take a note there. Let's come back to that one. Let's get it on the whatever cards they use at Scottsdale Unified School District too, right?
Absolutely, and I definitely think the public, I think the Scottsdale, the board, and I think our city council and elected officials should all be respectful of that. That it is totally okay for us to disagree. We each have our points, but we do it in a respectful manner. And hopefully, if you can open your mind just a little bit, we might actually come to a middle ground that will work best for the city and not for yourself.
Totally right. Common core values that I think we all agree with, but sometimes we just leave them at the door when we walk inside, don't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to get back to some of that for sure. So, what are some of the key initiatives and projects that you're working with right now? And what are some of the ones? So, tell me some of the things you've done at Scottsdale Leadership that you're most proud of, and then maybe what you're looking forward to ahead.
Well, a couple of the things that I'm really proud of is one, when Dana and I came in, we were right before Christmas. Our administrative assistant was out on maternity leave.
Yep.
We really didn't know much. We got into the office after that big luncheon of 400 people.
Right.
Started getting in a groove, and COVID hit. And so then we took this on the road, and I wasn't really sure how we're going to do this from a technical standpoint. That is not my strong suit, but I'm learning. And so we graduated 34 with a drive-through graduation and did things on Zoom.
That.
And
yeah.
just, like the rest of the world, you adjust, but it was huge. And then in the fall that year, since no one knew what was going to go on with COVID, we delayed the start of our next class 35. And we actually started a podcast, Scottsdale Frame of Mind. And we had 2 co-hosts like you all.
Yep.
And we did a total of 14 episodes, 2 seasons of 7
Did you really?
Mm-hmm. So when you all picked up in April of 21, we were ending. And since then, we've lost our co-host, or one moved away, and we did some reevaluation. And of course, you guys came on the scene, and a lot more frequency and consistency. And so that's what we did to fill the void that fall. And then we started with class 35. We did it January through June, which is not normal. And then the following year, we did a full September through May, but we did a mid-sized class because we were still waiting out of COVID. And this 36 was full class, 42, and 37. They just graduated in May, and then we have selected class 38. No one knows who they are.
Uh-oh.
We will reveal those at the welcome reception August 25th.
Coming up.
So you asked me about new initiatives. we are doing an overnight class retreat this year.
I saw that. Yeah.
And it will be 2 days. We have a rock star facilitator coming in. She happens to be an alumni, Christy Staub, out of class 25. And for 2 whole days, these folks are not going to know who each other is only by their first name.
Right.
Wait a minute, honestly, they know who they've been selected, though, right?
They know they've been selected.
You're not releasing to the general public who the class 38 is?
Nope, not even
Right,
the board.
okay. All right.
Not
Right.
even the board.
Really? Wow, that's interesting.
So the premise on this is that you come to the retreat,
Right.
and we're not sharing employment or titles, but first name only, and so that you get to know each other for you. We
Okay.
don't do these preconceived judgments or, based on a
Really?
title, you automatically think this. So we're doing that, and we will reveal everybody to themselves and then to the public that night, the 25th, at the welcome reception.
That's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
Has anybody done something like that before? It sounds really unique. How did you come up with the idea?
Well, I had the honor of going up to Leadership Henderson a year ago and observing their overnight retreat, which Christy led, and they do things a little differently there. And I thought this was wonderful. I had actually wanted to do this a couple years ago, but through everything that was going on, the timing wasn't right. And sometimes it's good for things to just fall in place. The stars align and it works out.
Yeah.
So this is really special for us to be able to do this and have 38 find out about themselves and each other. And then we'll start class September 15th. We'll take it all the way through next May 10th, and they'll graduate. So,
Kevin, you want to crash that party?
Yeah, I do.
Well, that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's
August
something.
25th.
August
I
25th.
want to crash the early part of that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what.
I know we're invited the 25th, but
Yeah.
I want to sneak in on that retreat and say, hey, how's this working? That sounds pretty cool.
We actually have several alumni that are volunteered to be small group facilitators, so we've done a trading with them, and they'll be
Nice.
there with us. And
Yeah.
this is a big thing for us, and I think it's going to bond the class very quickly.
Where's the retreat at? Well, you can't say.
Well, no, Scottsdale Conference Resort.
Oh, so it's in town.
It's in town.
It's in town, okay.
Absolutely.
Kevin, I can walk
Yeah.
over there. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll take a
yeah.
little stroll down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
That's cool. I'm excited for this year's class because I get to participate this year's class a little bit.
You want to tell them what you're up to?
So every day, we have 17 class days now, or how many have class days?
16 class days.
16 class days. So for people who've not familiar with the program, each day is a different day. So we have Education Day, we have Public Service Day, Healthcare Day, things like that. We used to have Technology Day. COVID, they had to change some things. So
Yeah,
we haven't had
sure.
Technology Day for about 5 years. As you know, technology is a passion of mine.
That's your gig.
So it's great because Lee Ann and Dana want to do a Technology Day this year. We're going to do it. And I'm so excited because it's going to be I have a rock star lineup. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about self-driving cars. We're going to have which is really important, right, in our community, right? Because
Yeah, of course it is.
Right. I mean, I almost got hit by a Waymo car today, right?
I know.
Yeah,
right,
so you know
right.
what's going on, right?
Wow. Okay.
So, all right. So we have these are either integrating our lives right now, right? AI is huge right now. You can't go a day without hearing about the new stuff going on with AI. We have some great presenters, and the class 38 are going to get some really good hands-on learning about what technology is. So, thank you, Lee Ann, for letting me do
It's
that.
so funny because Dana and I were getting glimpses of this, and we're like, I think we need to do technology. And like a week later, Kevin calls and says, hey, I got a proposal I want to run by you. You knocked it out of the park. I mean, it was so perfect, so timely. And since then, I have attended a couple of webinars on AI. Our marketing consultant is fleshing this out as well. I'm learning it, and I've figured out that I either need to embrace it. Well, I need to embrace it and not fear
Absolutely.
it because
Right.
it is here.
Sure.
And so the impact that it's already making, how do we utilize that? How do we teach our folks, not to be afraid of it, but this is what it is, and,
Right.
and how we use it. And hopefully it will be used in a positive way. Like any technology, you've got your pros and your cons,
Exactly.
and it can be dangerous. And
Right.
so we need to be aware, not only for ourselves, but for our children and what's coming down the pike. So that's what we're doing. And I am so grateful and excited, Kevin, that
Yeah.
you're going to be leading the day.
January 12th.
I'm
Yep.
going to crash that one.
Come to it.
It's
gonna
going
great.
to be phenomenal.
Yeah, it's going to be really good.
Definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
Every year you've got to pull together 30, 40, 45 people to do a class. I mean, how do you keep the pipeline going? Is that a challenge for you? You got through COVID okay, but you've never yet failed to have a full class allotment. So how does that work?
Through our alumni, That's the biggest. I would say 87% of the folks that come through our program are referred to by an alumni. We have some fantastic sponsors who actually make Scottsdale Leadership part of their leadership development program. We're very grateful for that. So they'll send a couple of candidates through that they usually vet. The city is a big supporter. We always have somebody from the fire department, the police department, the city.
Right.
It's a real gamut, and we try to have a very diverse group of industries, as well as, our ages are anywhere from mid-20s all the way up to a little over 70. And that's kind of like, I've had some people say, well, I'm probably a little bit too gray. I'm a little too old for this. And I'm like, actually, you're not. There is a wide range, and it's wonderful.
Does work. I was one of the oldest guys in my class, so
yeah?
I felt that. Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't mind it. I was fine with it. And you know what? Here's the thing: if you embrace the idea that we're all in part of lifelong learning,
Right.
then you go through something like Scottsdale Leadership. I thought I would know a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know. I was really blown away by it. It was really cool.
Well, this was it. When I went through, I'd been here maybe 28 years, and I thought, I volunteered. I was involved in this, and pretty much. And I thought, then I came through, and I'm like, how the heck did I not know this was going on? I was so amazed, and every single day I felt so proud to be from Scottsdale and so proud that these things were going on that I just wanted to shout it from the rooftops. And we continue to make our program relevant and on the edge.
That's important. So let's talk about challenges, and let's talk about them in two ways. One, challenges first that you see for Scottsdale Leadership, and then let's transition to challenges that we see for our community, for our city.
Okay.
But first, let's talk about what kind of challenges you see ahead for Scottsdale Leadership.
I think, like many nonprofits, it's always the financial end of things, garnering the support, and we continually go out and cultivate. First of all, we're cultivating companies because we really want your people. We believe that it's an investment in your employees, in your own company, which in turn benefits our community. So we really want your people. And then I'll come asking for the money.
Right.
We want your money and your sponsorships. And there's a variety of different ways to do that support so that, there's not any one person out great sums of money. So that would probably be the biggest challenge. But also, we produce a lot because it's not just this core program for the class members. It's a lot of our alumni events, and we want to keep our alumni engaged, and we offer a menu of activities that they can do, whether it's a speaker series or a community service or a philanthropy or mentoring, just a whole host of ways to re-engage and stay involved that meets them where they are in life. Many of them have served on our board. They've served on a number of boards. Some are kind of like, okay, I've been there, done that, but I still want to stay involved. So, okay, we're going to offer you this speaker series. In fact, we've got a cool networking event September 27th. Going to have a speaker, Mike Bear, and it's all about your network is your net worth. And so that's going to be open.
That's good.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. That's fantastic. It's always tough for nonprofits chasing the dollar.
It is. There's so many good ones around there.
There are.
In Scottsdale, doing a lot of great work.
Totally is. And, everybody's competing, and it's not a huge pool. There's so much to go around. So it's always a challenge. Challenges for the city. Let's talk about ways that Scottsdale Leadership can sort of meet some of the challenges that we have for the city. I always think about the pipeline we have for leaders, whether they're running for council or applying to be on our boards and commissions or the school board or whatever. And we always talk about, boy, I wish we had some more candidates, or boy, we can't find any candidates for this particular job or whatever. What can we do about that? I mean, that would be right up the sweet spot of Scottsdale Leadership, wouldn't it?
Well, that's what we're supposed to be doing, is turning up that passion and that inspiration in our folks to go out there and serve the community in some kind of capacity. Not everybody's cut out for the city council. Not everybody wants to be mayor. Not everybody wants to be on a board and commission, and you've been on, the airport commission. But if we can bring this before our class members, and as well as our alumni, come back and visit a class and learn about this, then we hope to ignite a passion within you and the connections and the follow up to make sure that you get what you need to flesh that out.
Right.
So I did a quick tally of all the boards and commissions, and right now we currently have 23 folks serving in boards and commissions and task force.
That's good.
Right
yeah.
now.
Okay, good.
But that doesn't reflect all the people that have come before this current year. And then we have more people than I can count involved in nonprofit boards.
Sure.
So I constantly get phone calls for saying, hey, I'm looking for some good people, some good leaders to join
Really?
our board to do this. And eventually we'll have a job board that we can post on our website, that will be a two-way street.
Right.
But yeah, they're looking for good leaders.
That's good. Yeah. Well, that's one of your sweet spots. And I know you've done a great job, and historically, the Scottsdale Leadership has over the years. But you look at some of the people who have, I can't tell you that. Probably, if you looked at the past 10 years of city councils, I wonder how many people have been through leadership program. Probably. Have you done the tally there too?
I did. I believe there's been 2 mayors, 9 or 11, I'm not sure, of the city council members.
Yeah.
We've had a couple go on to the legislature, and then one Senator Carolyn Allen, who is no longer.
Right.
So, yeah, we're trying to feed them out there and connect them up, and it's really enticing them. One thing that we are going to do this next year is we're going to take City Government Day and break it into 2 days so that we can delve down a little bit deeper on boards and commissions and meeting people, and we're also going to run a project all the way through from start to finish so that people understand when you see that placard on the road or you get these flyers, this is what it means, and this is what you need to do to be an informed voter.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, you don't pay attention until it actually affects you in your backyard.
Yeah, exactly right.
So what do you do with that? And how do we educate others?
Yeah, that's good stuff for sure.
Yeah, Lee Ann, I think this is great. Being an alumni, as we are, it would have been really easy, and because everybody had a great experience, right? I had a great experience. All my colleagues had a great experience. It would have been super easy to sit back and just go to replicate that model over and over again, year after year after year. It would have been easy to do that, but that's not what you and Dana have done, and your staff, Michelle and everybody else too. You guys are constantly looking to make the program better. What can we do to change it? Just like we just mentioned about City Government Day. City Government Day is one of the most popular days, I think, of the year, and you've taken it and gone deeper and made it even better.
Well, we have a responsibility to the community to fill whatever we can to meet the needs of what's going on at the time. And then our class members also give us feedback through surveys, and we pay attention to that. You know, what goes right, what goes wrong. Maybe it's really, wow us with your response on how we did that. Our problem is we always have so much information that we have to extract some so that we can have meaningful dialogue during the class and really absorb that.
That's exactly right. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. It's going to be a great year. Can't wait for everybody to meet Class 38. I've kind of gone over some of the things that we're going to change. One thing I didn't touch on, guys, was our community service projects. The project Lead It Forward. And I think this year we're going to kind of center it around the theme of homelessness.
Okay, good.
And we're going to splinter off each of the 5 groups into an area of homelessness so that when we come together at graduation, it all ties together.
Wow. That's fantastic.
So I think we're going to try this year and see how it works because it is such an issue. It's such a popular issue with our incoming class.
So what would the different branches that be then?
Well,
like what causes homelessness and then, housing and stuff like that? I mean...
Well, first identifying homelessness terminology and what does it mean to everybody? Because there's different phases of homelessness. Before you get there, when you're there, you've got your veterans, you've got your single moms, you've got your seniors, you've got kids aging out of the foster care, a number of different entities that all fall up under this. And so we're going to flesh that out so that by the end, I hope that we will contribute something to the community rather than just talk about it.
I'm sure you will, for sure. Yeah. And don't forget Family Promise. Ted Taylor's an alumni. And
we've already been talking.
And we've got probably on our board now, Kevin and I are both on that board. I think we've got at least
Larry.
3 or 4 other alumni. That we've reached out to Scottsdale Leadership.
Tammy Shellman.
Tammy, exactly.
Is on our board.
Yeah.
Okay. I've known that
Neil Sutton,
Neil, I know
exactly
Neil.
Right.
So, you're on our list.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic because there'll be a great resource for that. So that makes a lot of sense. What a great conversation.
We wanted to have Lee Ann on earlier, but I'm glad we had her on now because our audience has grown to the point where they're going to have more. This message that she's telling is going to have a broader audience. So thank you for being patient.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. It's good to spend the afternoon with you guys.
It's great to see you, Lee Ann. Great to catch up. We thank you for all the work you're doing with Scottsdale Leadership. It's an important institution in our city. We appreciate that as well. And thanks to all of you for listening. Soon we're going to be celebrating our 100th show. And we'll be inviting all of our listeners to celebrate with us. And we'll have details for you in the near future. So until then, see you next week. for another edition of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale.